Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, Hidden Flame. Welcome back to another episode of my Final Fantasy timeline. Before I begin, I wanted to explain one small thing regarding my timeline that everyone seems to want to bring up, so I'm going to have to say this every time I do one of these videos. I understand that the games are their own worlds, that each have their own individual stories, that it is a multiverse, not a universe. So, if you wish to tell me this again, go ahead and put it in the comments. This is my timeline. I'm going to connect the games with their connections, and I will continue this project. With that said, let us continue. So, as I was going through the original files and all of my original videos, I realized I was going about this the wrong way. I was trying to connect each individual game to another specific game, but I don't think that's true. I have been going through and writing down my information, and yes, writing down. You hear this? This is a book. In my notebook, I have at least 10 pages worth of information that I have come across, and over the next couple of videos, hopefully one a month, no guarantees on that, please don't quote me on that, but I am going to be going through my notes, making these videos, and hopefully we can get something sorted out here. So, I have a few things. Some possible connections that I have is connecting 1 and 9 through the 4 Elemental Fiends and Garland. I can do 2 and 4 with Cain Highwind. I can do 1, 3, and 5 with the Warriors of Light. I can do 3 and 8 on Hein. I can do 7 and 10 for Shinra. I can explain the Ivalice timeline again if people want me to. I can do 7 and 8 with how Zell and Tifa are connected. I could do 6 and 15 with the World of Ruin happening at the same time. I can do 5 and 14, sorry, with Kryl being a main character in both. I can do 3 and 8 with the Sorceress Hein again. I made a mistake. I wrote things twice. Or I can do 6, 7, and 10 with the Promised Land, or the Far Plane, or whatever you want to call it. So I have some ideas. I also have connections with the job system, the magic system, the summoning system. And I also am looking forward to my High Winds video, my Warrior of Lights video, and my Gilgamesh video. So that's just a few things going forward. So what are we doing today? Today I am going to be talking about magic. You see, in the games, magic is portrayed similar, but also different. There are some games where you have to buy magic, like in Final Fantasy 1 and Final Fantasy 2, where you have to buy the books and learn the magic, or you have to buy the magic spell. There's other times where you have to do something specific to learn the magic, like in 9, where you get a weapon or an armor and you learn the magic. Or in 6, where you get the Eidolon, the summon, the crystal, whatever, and they teach you magic. Or there's other times where you are a wizard and you just learn magic over time. In Final Fantasies 1, 2, 3, possibly 9, and 12, you actually have to physically buy magic. Final Fantasy IX is a little different as you learn your spells through weapons and armor, but you're still buying them. In Final Fantasies 4, 5, 10, 11, 13, 14, and Tactics, you learn spells as you progress through the levels. In Final Fantasy 8 and 15, you actually draw the spells from the earth, while in 15 specifically, you have to draw them and create them, where in 8, you just draw them from the ground or from monsters. Then there is the enigma of Final Fantasy 6, 7, and 10-2. Each one of these has magic coming from materia. At least in 7. In 6, you have it from the summoning stones. And then in 10-2, you have it from the dress spheres. You find the spheres, they become classes where you learn the spells. I could end it here, but no. There is another specific way of trying to explain the games. If I were to go this specific route with the magic, here is my theory on how it separates the timeline. Let us start at the beginning. Throughout the main part of the Final Fantasy franchise, learning your magic spells through time has always been the main way of teaching your characters spells, whether it's cure, fire, or even summons. In the early parts of the franchise, even the summons are physical beings. They are in 4 when you go to the summoner's land, or the land of summons, to Yuna and her pilgrimage for the Aeons. They're all physical beings. Even in Final Fantasy VI, summons are still around, but they are being hunted down and killed for their abilities. With this event, magic slowly becomes impossible for the average person. You need to be infused with abilities. You need to have a magical essence in order to use spells. People like Ceres, who has been imbued with Magitech, magic and technology, in order to cast her spells, and even then it's a weakened state. This is also going to take 9 into account too, where magic abilities are imbued in weapons and armor, even shields, to help people learn or relearn their magical techniques. But magic doesn't end there. In Final Fantasy VII, it is claimed that materia is the essence of the earth. This being how you get your magic throughout the games. Same thing with drawing the magic in 15 and 8. You're drawing it from the source of all magic inside the earth. But with the solidified magical essence that is materia, people started to refine magical abilities into books, which you would see in Final Fantasy II. Now, if you were to go and look in Final Fantasy 1 and in Final Fantasy 12, you see that they are more spherical. So, they would be just like the magical sap from the earth itself, trying to give everybody magical abilities. Where in 8 and 15, it's more of a raw source, which is leaking from the earth. You can even say that the raw magic can be manufactured into something more sustainable, like the materia from 7, or even the purchasables from the shops in 1 and 3. Well, it's hard to say what came first, what started the downfall of magic, what and where do you place things in a direct timeline. It's kind of hard to say, as games that you learn magic, like in 13 and 4, they're vastly different in technology and world building. And then you have games like 15, which is more modern, and 8, which is more of a apocalyptic cyberpunk. Also in 13, the world comes to an end, so that would have to be the end, right? We will just have to see in time as I place these things together. But this is just one specific theory. Now, this doesn't really help in setting a timeline, but it's a basis. Now, it can loop easily around. You have the magic that's purchasable and placed in weapons and armor, also placed in books or in single-use items. Then magic goes away, spouts out from the earth, manufactured, and repeat. It is an endless cycle. So there is a chance it is just an endless cycle. So using this going forward is easier said than done, because another one of my theory videos, I am going to talk about the technology, the summons. I'm even going to talk about the Warriors of Light and a few other things. So this video is the groundwork for my new timeline, and hopefully things will come into play a little bit better going forward. So, if you guys have questions, or if you have suggestions, or if you just want to tell me that the idea, what I'm going behind, is futile, place it in the comments below. I will reply to every comment. I will answer any questions, and I will take questions into consideration. Not questions, more like suggestions. I've had a few talking about something in the Ivalice series. I've had stuff talking about the War of the Magi. I've even talked about those in the past. You're more than welcome to go check them out. But this is going to be a different look into the timeline. So, I want to end it with a couple of things. The next video I'm going to do is going to be based around the technology of the Final Fantasy games. The eras they are in, the type of world they are revolving around, and see about placing a more aesthetical and theme to my timeline, and see how things go from there. So I look forward to you guys ripping this apart, because that's what the internet does. And if you haven't noticed, which you probably have because I haven't done much regarding pictures and stuff, if you want to ever join me on Hyperion, that's the Final Fantasy XIV server I play on, please hit me up. Hidden Flame there. And I post Final Fantasy videos every so often. I do the full timeline, or not timeline, the actual Final 14 gameplay on the channel. I'm trying to get it back from my other channel, and hopefully I'll have Endwalker on the channel. So hopefully I'll see you guys soon, as I'm already working on the technical side of the timeline. Also, before I forget, I am looking for an editor, or this would be just an editor, someone who will help place these together, fix sound, fix video, add pictures here and there, maybe a thumbnail person. It will just be on this series for now, and I am willing to pay per video. It'll probably be $25 to $50 depending on the length of the video. So hopefully I'll have some replies. I don't know if anybody would be willing to, but please hit me up in the comments below, and I'll see what I can do. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll just let the rest of the video play, as there are only about maybe a minute or two left. So enjoy the fight. Till next time.